Hey there, and welcome to another episode of The Visible Entrepreneur. As we are heading into a new month, I couldn't think of a better topic to cover than publicity. It's something that's on all of our minds, especially as we're growing our brands and businesses and trying to figure out, how do I get my name and my brand out there more and more? So what I've decided to do is I'm actually releasing this live in my Facebook group, The Visible Entrepreneur, every day of the week to save a little bit of time and not make it as annoying for you. I'm going to be condensing them where we'll be covering 5 per week. So that way you can get it all in one blast and you can start feeling supported on this very confusing road of publicity versus visibility. So that first tip I'm going to give you, we're going to find a little bit more clarity. But before I start it, let me explain a little bit of why we're talking about publicity versus visibility, because a lot of people do not know the difference. Are you ready? Okay. So visibility is what you're doing out there on social media channels organically. You're doing live streams, blogging, podcasting, whatever it is, a YouTube channel. And your goal is to increase your audience, to up your subscribers, and to increase your income. Everything that you do to do that is a visibility strategy. With publicity, now you are being seen on a larger scale with the goal of being trusted as the expert in your niche and to increase your credibility. Yes, is your audience going to grow if you book EO Fire or Huffington Post or you get on a TV segment? Absolutely. But that's not the main focus of publicity. That is to have that widespread trust and people seeing you as that credible authority. So now that you understand that, you can see why I take you through a ton of visibility strategies, but then at some point it's time to move on to publicity strategies. We cover this in detail in the lounge, and the first 2 stages are all about visibility. The second 2 stages all about publicity. So if this is something that's been on your mind a lot, think about jumping into the Visibility Lounge. It's just $35 a month, super affordable. You can jump in right now and get started with Audition Stage. But in the meantime, let's jump in to our first publicity tip. This is the place to ask questions. This is the place to take notes. This is the place to learn strategy. Welcome to the Visible Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Lewis, and this is the podcast you'll love listening to week after week. After a history in Hollywood, I know what it takes to get visible. And as an entrepreneur, you don't have to keep feeling frustrated and trapped, not able to get yourself out there. Myself, my guests, and even my family are here to lift you up, guide you, and give you powerful ideas so that you can get your unique voice into the online space. Ready? Let's do it. Right now, we're going to be starting with tip number 1. This may seem kind of obvious, but you would be shocked how many people have not done it. And that is list your publicity goals. What is your goal with getting more publicity? A lot of people just have in their head that they want publicity, but they don't actually sit down to figure out why. Do you want to up your following? Do you want to increase your authority? Do you want to be known more in your industry? Do you want to increase your credibility? What do you want with a publicity campaign? It's really important to figure this out and to list your goals with it, because if you do not have a target, you will miss every single time. So I want you to get out a piece of paper or bring up your Google Docs, fill out why do you want to get more publicity, and then let me know in the comments below. Okay, on to publicity tip number 2, and that is to create your timeline. Really important to figure out how much time you're going to be dedicating to your publicity campaign. Is it going to be 90 days for podcast guesting? Is it going to be 120 days for getting in publications? My biggest tip would be to sit down and actually look at the entire calendar year. Then you can figure out that, hey, I want to get started with 90 days of podcasts, then I want to do 90 days of public speaking, and then 90 days of publications, however you want to break it down. But make an actionable timeline in your calendar, because once you can create this big goal of your big timeline, then we can start niching down and figuring out what you're going to be submitting day by day. Publicity tip number 3, and that is to create a brand video. I know you're sitting there going, Michelle, this publicity has nothing to do with branding. Actually, it absolutely does. And the reason why I was able to book so many features in Huffington Post and BuzzFeed and Medium and all these different things is because I had a very cohesive brand. So even though I didn't have the numbers yet, a lot of bookers looked at my established brand, were extremely impressed and wanted to book me. And a huge part of that is a brand video. This is a 2 to 4 minute snapshot where someone can see exactly who you are, what you do, who you help, and what your big mission is. And a booker, a podcast host, an editor, a publicist, whoever it is going to be able to look at your brand video and go, oh my gosh, I love their story. I love their mission. I love their heart. And it will increase your chances of booking. This is fantastic to have if you have a really established, successful business, or if you're just starting out, because either way, you do not need the logos. You don't need the numbers. The brand video will speak for you. So I really want you to get this brand video together before you even start submitting for publicity and to put it on your website, and specifically what we'll talk about in a few days, your press page. If you have any questions about building a brand video, just let me know below. I have resources that will help you get there, specifically in my monthly membership, the Visibility Lounge. All right, I'll see you tomorrow for another publicity tip. Publicity tip number 4. I want you to list your dream features in order. This means that if you're really excited to start getting featured in magazines, I want you to list all the magazines you want to be featured in. If you want to do podcast guesting, list all your dream podcasts. If you want to do TV appearances, list them all. Public speaking, list all your dream stages. Now, the important part here is I want you to list the big ones, the medium ones, and the small ones, because when we actually start submitting you, you're going to start with the small ones. This is how you build your reputation. You build your feature list. You're building your following because of it. And then gradually you can start going up that staircase to then book your dream feature. So get all of them down on a piece of paper, take a photo, post them below, or just list them in the comments. I would love to see them. And I will see you tomorrow for your next publicity tip. Publicity tip number 5. I want you to create a press page. There are so many people that are saying media kits, one sheets. I get them in my inbox every single day and it drives me crazy because people are paying good money to be told that this is the way to get publicity. But obviously, they don't know what they're talking about because these emails never get opened. Never. No editor or publicist or podcast host is going to open an email that contains an attachment. There's too much of a risk of it having a virus or a bug. It's just not the way that they're going to do their business. Instead, if you're able to embed your press page as a hyperlink inside of your email, the chances of your email not only being opened in the first place, but being clicked on increases significantly. So I need you to build a press page on your website. This is a great way to showcase who you are, some of your stats, any of your appearances, and you guessed it, your brand video. So go get to work, create your press page, drop the link below so I can see it. And if you need help and have no clue where to start, you can let me know that too, and I will send you some resources. In the meantime, stay tuned for the next publicity tip. Great. I am so glad that you stuck with me listening to the first 5 tips, and hopefully it's giving you a lot of great ideas. Do your homework, hop into the free Facebook group, The Visible Entrepreneur, post it, let me know. This is something I want to help you start getting your feet wet with this. Start understanding and demystifying publicity, because for a lot of us, it can feel really confusing and a bit scary. So I want to take the fear out of it, give you some encouragement, and show you how easy it is to book your first publicity feature. Whether that's guesting on a podcast, getting on a brand new stage, getting into the Huffington Post, getting featured in your favorite magazine, doing a TV segment at your favorite local network, whatever it is. So stay tuned. We'll be going over 5 more tips next week. And if you're not in the Visibility Lounge yet, jump in. You can find it really easy. visibilityvixen.com/visibility lounge. Let's jump in. Let's start learning those publicity techniques and start submitting as soon as tomorrow. All right, see you next week. I hope you loved this episode as much as I did. Now, we're all about building a tribe here at The Visible Entrepreneur, so be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and then head on over to the Facebook group. It's a great place where you can practice your video, live stream, and really enjoy the community that we have built. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next episode. Now get out there and get more visible.
That's a wrap.